Hello and thanks for stopping in. Today is another day. It's another hot day. Look, it's 93 degrees. You got that in there, Donnie? It's 93. I've got the air conditioning on. I don't know if you can hear it. But the big question for today is, what's for dinner? Well, come down here. Look at this. So this is what we are having for dinner tonight. One of the things. It's a rack of lamb. It's an 8-bone rack of lamb. 2, 4, 6, 8. Got it from Costco. If you like lamb, Costco's the best place to get it. You get more for your money for sure. This was about 22 bucks. Now, when I unpackaged the lamb today, as you may well know, it can be really coated or topped with a lot of fat, and a lot of that fat can be very thick. Usually it's this vein line here, and sometimes out here can have a very thick fat. So you have to trim it down like you would trim a brisket, right? A brisket has really, really hard, thick fat that is never going to render down, so you got to trim it off. So I trimmed enough of it off, and you do want to leave some on for you lamb lovers. Fat is always good on lamb. So what I've done so far for this lamb, after trimming it, I coated it with some olive oil and rubbed some garlic all over on both sides, some salt and pepper, and then I chopped up some fresh rosemary and thyme and put it in the oven. And that's what I'm gonna do. Now, in a couple of hours, it's only 2:45, I'm gonna sear this lamb on both sides to get a nice sear on both sides, and especially here on this side. This is not such of a big deal. And after I sear it on both sides, I'm gonna put a layer, and not a thick layer, but a layer of Dijon mustard over it. And then I'm going to dredge these just like this in a plate of Panko crumbs, and they're seasoned Panko crumbs. And I'll put that, sear it in, and then it'll go into the oven at 425 for about 20 to 25 minutes. We typically like our lamb at a medium rare plus, so they say. So it's not quite medium rare, or not over medium rare, but not quite medium. So they call it medium rare plus. I'll be doing that. In addition, and we'll see this later, I will also be making a scalloped potato that I really, really love, that has some sliced onions, bacon, thyme, cheese, heavy whipping cream, and top it off with cheese again. It's really, really good. We'll get back to that later. So this is gonna go in the fridge first. It's gonna go in the fridge. What time do you wanna eat tonight, Donnie? What do you say?
I don't know.
What do you say? 6 o'clock. It'll be an hour and 15 minutes to do the scalloped potatoes. This should take no more than 35 minutes with the sear and then into the oven. So maybe at 5:30 I'll start the dinner. We'll probably have some green beans on the side, not quite sure yet, we'll see. I love lamb.
Me too.
Yeah, so I'm gonna cut that in half. We're each gonna have 4 little ribs here, and so we'll come back later. See you later. Okay, welcome back. Now the lamb is still in the fridge. It's now 5:17, so I'll wait a little bit longer. Now I'm gonna start on the scalloped potatoes. So here's the ingredients that I'm gonna use. I've got about 3 russet potatoes that I've diced, about 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. I have them in water so they don't get brown. I got a lot of bacon here. I can't tell you how much I use. I like a lot of bacon. I'm a bacon lover. So you can add or, not have as much as you want, but I got a lot of bacon. I would say, I don't know, half a pound. I've got a large onion sliced up. I'm going to be using my camp mix, which is salt and pepper and garlic and onion powder, and I think that's it. I'm also going to use a little bit of Cajun seasoning to add a little bit of heat, because I love that. And I've got dried thyme. I don't have fresh thyme. Dry thyme will work just well. And I got my casserole dish that I'm going to layer all this in once it's done. So when we come back, I have the oven. Right now I have the oven at preheating at 350. So when we come back and when we come back and I'm gonna get the skillet going. What am I talking about onions? I got onions here. It's making me cry. I can't stand it. I'm going to start rendering the bacon, then adding the onions and all the other stuff in here, and then begin to layer the scalloped potato. And I also have some heavy whipping cream and cheese that I'm also going to be using. We'll get that to that in a bit. But when we come back, I'll start off with the bacon and the onions. So see you in a bit. Hey, so we're back. Now, I've rendered the bacon. There's no point in sitting here while the bacon is rendering. So I went ahead and got it started. It's done. And I'm going to remove it, and I'm going to add the onions in as soon as I get all this out. Ooh. Okay, hold on. Okay. Now, I got a lot of bacon fat in here, which I really don't want this much in. So I'm going to take some out. Okay, one little straggler there. Okay. Oop. One piece of bacon fell to the floor. Out it goes. Okay, I'm gonna get my onions in. Actually, that's not so bad. I'm gonna leave the oil in, and I'm gonna saute the onions. Okay. So now, I'm going to let these sweat out. Add a little bit of salt so they can sweat. That's the sound of the oven. The oven is ready once I put all the everything together for the scalloped potatoes. The oven's ready. So these will sit, and I pulled the bacon out because I really don't want them to crisp up anymore. When I start to layer the scalloped potatoes in, I want the bacon to be nice and crisp, because if they weren't as crisp, they're going to continue to render while the potatoes are cooking, and that's going to release a lot more oil that I don't want in the final product, so to speak. So these are going to sit for a bit, and I'm also going to add the thyme in. All the ingredient measurements will be in the description below. That's about good right there. Okay, so I'm going to let these cook down. Turn up the heat a little bit. I'm going to let them cook down. And when I come back, I'm going to start to layer now the potatoes in. I have some butter that I've put into the baking dish. I want some butter all down at the bottom and all the sides. And then I'm going to layer all this in once these have cooked through and caramelized. And I'm going to pull out some cheese. I'm going to pull out the heavy whipping cream. And we're going to start to go through the whole layering process, which I'm going to actually show you from beginning to end. So we'll come back in a few. We'll see you in a bit. Hey, all right. Take a look at my onions. They've caramelized. So they're nicely caramelized, and now I'm going to take them out, because now I need to go back to the island, and I need to now start to layer everything in. So let me get this in. And Donnie, if you could actually go back to the counter, I'll meet you there in a second. Okay. All right. So here's what I got. I got my onions, I got my bacon, I got my potatoes, I got my cheese down there. Let me get my heavy whipping cream. Okay, and I got these potatoes here in water, and that's so they don't turn brown. So now I'm going to start to layers. Can you get this in here, Donnie? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to layer these potatoes in. I just like to stack them in there. I kind of fill in the blanks sometimes. I get these little weird pieces. I'm like, okay, I'll put you over there. That's where you're going to live. Yeah. Okay, what else? A little patch over there. Got a little thin one here. I'll put them here. So there's my first layer of potatoes. And now I'm going to sprinkle in some salt, pepper, the garlic and the onion.
Can't mix.
Can't mix. And then I'm going to put in some of the Cajun spice. You might say, oh my God, it's going to be hot. You know, we like a little spicy stuff, so it doesn't matter if this is what we like. You certainly don't have to have that much. And then I'll just kind of throw in here some of the onions. I want to get them all kind of evened out. And I got multi-layers, so I have to watch how much I put in because I want to make sure they're all kind of spread out. Okay, that's just what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to put in some bacon. Put in some bacon, little bacon pieces. Okay, then I redo it again, more layers. So now I may have extra potatoes sliced here, and if I do, I'm not going to use them. What I will do is probably save them for tomorrow because I'm going to be doing, Donnie loves poached eggs, and I'm going to do a poached egg breakfast tomorrow, so maybe I'll fry me up some potatoes. What do you say, Donnie? What about that?
Sounds good.
Yep. Okay, and put this little guy, he's going to live there, and this guy's going to live there, and he's going to live there. Okay, so another layer of salt and pepper and garlic and onion. Top it off with the Cajun. More onions. These onions I've caramelized more than I have any other onion when I've done this. Let's see if I'll notice something in the taste later. Okay, and let's do the bacon. More bacon. Things are always better with bacon. I could eat, I'm gonna hate to say this, but I could sit there and render a pound of bacon and eat it in one, just sit there and eat bacon. I could do that. I'd have to go to Kaiser afterwards and go for the early bird special. You know, a chest x-ray and a Danish. I think I got that from a Golden Girl episode. Would that be right, Donnie?
Yes.
That's hilarious. Okay, so I'm going to have extra potatoes, which is totally fine. Again, I can make some potato. Well, that one's gone. He fell out. Okay. Now, can't mix. Cajun. Okay, the rest of the onions, because this is it, that's the final layer. So I'm going to get all this onions in here. And they may not be evenly spread out. It's funny when Donnie and I watch cooking shows and they do these things and we're like, well, you missed a whole big section over there. So I'm going to try and get it as best as I can. I could have failed at this, I don't know, but it's all going to be good. And there's that runaway potato. Okay. So, I'm going to finish off with the bacon. Throw a couple of pieces down there in the cracks.
Don't have to use it all for taste.
Usually, you know, when I render the bacon, Donnie and I nibble at it, and so by the time we get down to it, there's nothing left. Okay, so now the heavy whipping cream, and this is about, I don't know, about 2 cups. I don't know if I'm going to use it all. I'm just going to look at it. I'm going to eyeball it to see kind of when it comes up. I'll let that all, oops. A moment. Okay, I'm not going to use these potatoes. Okay, so it looks like it still needs, I would normally use this whole thing. And that looks like that's really what it's going to be about. Yep. So that's about it, and it's all going to set. So, got a lot there. Un momento. I hate having messes, so I've got to clean up all this little creamer that's spilt. All right, now I'm going to put in the cheese. And this is a blend of pepper jack, white cheddar, and regular cheddar cheese. Donnie, did you take, you're going to take your pill for dairy tonight?
Absolutely.
Because I haven't made these in a while, so I'm going to be loving it. All right, so my oven is heated, ready to go, and I'm going to cover these with foil. My hands here. Cover these with foil, and I'm going to put these on for 1 hour and 15 minutes. And then I will take off the tin foil, and then I'll leave them in there for another 10 minutes. And then they need to rest and set, okay? So, I'm gonna put them in the oven. And there they go. So, the next thing that I need to do is get the lamb kind of seared up and ready to go. And since this is gonna sit here for an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and a half, and when it's all done, I'm not going to really have to do the lamb yet for another half hour or so. So when we come back, I'll have the kitchen cleaned up, and then we're going to sear the lamb, and then I'm going to put that into the convection oven, because I'm not going to use both ovens, and or both of them in the same oven, and we'll finish it off then. So we'll see you back later. Okay, the scalloped potatoes have been in the oven for 1 hour, and I'm going to take, come down here, Don. I'm going to take the tin foil off, because now it needs to go back in for another 15 minutes with the tin foil off. So I'm going to just put that into the oven for the remaining 15 minutes, and then we'll come back and I'll start the lamb. So we'll see you back in a bit. All right, I've taken the scalloped potatoes out of the oven. They've been sitting uncovered for 15 minutes, and this is looking real good. So this is gonna set now, and I'm just gonna lightly tent it and leave it at that. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is sear the lamb, the rack of lamb. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna turn the stove on and get this going, and we'll be back in a second. Toodaloo. Okay, we're ready for the lamb. So, meat side down. See that sear? Okay. So I'm gonna let this sit here for a few minutes and get a nice sear on it. I'm gonna turn it back over and sear this part of it. And then I'm going to actually apply a layer of Dijon Mustard and some Panko crumbs, and then it's going to go into the oven for 22 to 25 minutes, so it's at a nice medium rare plus. So I'm going to let this sit here for a bit. When we come back, I'll have it done on both sides, and then we'll do the next portion of it. We'll see you back in a second. Okay, I've taken the lamb off the skillet, and now I'm going to apply the Dijon mustard. And even get the sides. Okay. Just a little bit more. How's that look, Donnie?
Looks great.
Nice even coating. Okay, so now I'm going to put this away, the Panko, seasoned Panko crumbs. And now I'm going to roll them in. Yeah, roll them in. And do the other side. as well. Now I'm going to put them on the rack. And now I'm going to take the remaining crumbs. And even on the side, even on the side. I'm going to put this into a 425 degree oven, and I'm going to use my convection oven here. And again, for about 20 to 23 minutes till it's a nice medium rare plus. Okay. Let's see, that looks good. All right. I'm going to put it in. And we'll see you back in about 23 minutes when they're done. Okay, dinner's done, and I've actually taken the ribs out, the lamb chops out, and the ribs. I've actually sliced them up and plated the scalloped potatoes as well. Turned out to be a beautiful, what I call a medium rare plus, and that's in between medium rare and medium. These all came out really beautiful. I can't wait to dive into it. So thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe, like, and share. And I hope to see you soon. Take care.